Welcome. Every major religion originated in Africa. If this is true, then what? If this is true, what it means that every religion started in Africa, it means that the implications for everyone will be very painful and psychologically hard to digest. The point we are raising here is that there must be something mentally noxious that has been systematically in operation, harnessing every black person via wrong thinking, mentality, and brain use in a religious yoke in the last 3,000 or so years. It points out definitely that somehow we are indeed slaves. You look at that, you can find that there is evidence that every religion began in Africa. But the question is, why do these people and all these religions and all these countries and nations hate black people? Consider the issue of enslavement and colonization as the first point. When black people were taken from Africa to America, they were forcefully converted to Christianity. They were spoon-fed a religion from the slave ship. In the slave ship, they used faith and belief and Bible to justify their enslavement. So how do we then say the Bible and Christianity, Judaism and Islam are African religions? The slave ships, many of them had ministers on board to help oversee and bless the passage. Slave ships included names like Jesus, Grace of God, Angel, Liberty, and Justice. How could this be? How do we justify that? We are not educated even today. We are programmed to think in a certain manner to accept enslavement. You read this book by Carter G. Woodson, it clearly demonstrates that education and academic control has a purpose to make you a worker, not to liberate you, not to free you. And the people that are doing this have religious basis in their constitution and politics. They are Christians, and yet we are saying Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, all major religions came from Africa. If we claim that all major religions came from Africa, why is there also ignorance amongst Africans? How did we lose that knowledge? Why? You look at many others, people, brilliant people, great people, Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, all converted to a religion that enslaved millions of Africans and destroyed African civilization. These Islamic and Christian atrocities must make every Muslim, every Jew, every Christian to sit down and seriously reconsider whether they can continue believing and following either Allah, Jesus, Muhammad, or anybody, because of the blood and the lives and souls that these religions destroyed and decimated from the earth. Yet you find that more people are converting to Christianity. But why? Why do Africans love Christianity, Islam, and Judaism? How do black Jews, Christians, and Muslims justify all the current evils and past history and doctrinal reasons and then convert into Judaism, Christianity, and Islam at the same time? Is it true that every major religion originated in Africa? What we are going to share today and what we are going to say can never be heard from the temple, church, mosque, or pulpit. Yet the evidence that major religions came out of Africa looks us and stares us bright-eyed in our faces, and we can see it. Let's look at doctrines. Every major religion teaches basically the same cycles of life. The foundations are the African ancestor belief system: rebirth, burial, death, and soul and spirit. The evidence for all these dogmas and religions and beliefs have been deliberately ignored. Once it is pointed out that they came from Africa, they are quickly fudged, and sometimes a statement is uttered that they are primitive, but the facts remain demonstrable and clear. However, one crucial fact that has been demonstrated here at Committee Buddhist Ethics Marifat Development Organization is the issue of God. We have produced a book that we believe and that we sincerely have looked at, read, and we know that it adequately addresses this issue, that the creator is not God, that God is a created entity. Read this book. So let's go next to the creation. After God, we go to the creation issue. In the beginning was Yunyu, the great waters of the unmanifest. This is the paramount doctrine of creation found in all major religions, and yet we know came from ancient African belief systems and permeated the whole earth. We will prove that. We have proved that many times. Next, it means that we have to put a name there. Birth of the sun god Ra, who mounted on the land mount that arose out of the flood of God, or Nyunyu, represented by the apex of the pyramid in everywhere where you find the pyramid in each continent on the earth. So 4,500 years BCE, Nunu or Nunu, Ra, gave birth to the belief system, ancestral belief system, which is encapsulated and captured in the Ausari, so-called Osiris. Once you understand the Osirian belief system, that's it. And the Osirian belief system is the ancestor reverential system that we find amongst African, that spread into Christianity when they worship Jesus, when they say Jesus became a spirit, when they say they want the Holy Spirit of God, is the same thing that Africans have always danced and wanted to be possessed by a spirit of their ancestors. That's clear. So this book, the Book of Coming Forth by Day, gave birth to the Rig Veda, 2000 BCE, the Holy Bible, 900 BCE, and the Quran, 700 years after death. Go to this website, you can find it. So the Ra-Union theology accounts for over 72% of the morality system of the modern world, yet few teach that, and others hide that this 3000 BCE Afro legend story is the birthplace of all religions, using reincarnation or singular birth, resurrection, or theory of the sun or sun god Ra or Re, born out of the primordial mount, born again from the waters. You should be born again. In particular, the Abrahamic faith, 1000 BCE, and the Abrahamic faith, 500 years BCE. So this word Abraham is very critical. It's the clue that tells us and shows us where it all came from. The suffix term Ham or HMA is Hama, means humanity. It's a Bantu term, straightforward. Also pronounced as Hem, Kami there in Africa, and the Kama dynasty in Africa. We still carry it. We still carry that name. It's a mound or Nyunyu that arose out of the primordial waters, annual 120-day flooding of the Nile, from which the sun god was born. The same root for the signs of Africa is chemistry or Kami mysteries. That's no debate at all. So the 6 main following facts show that the underlying Afro-Bantu use of the word Kami or Hama is found in the Vedic as also in the Torah. You find that both Abraham and Abrahma carry the term Bra and Hama, and Ra and Hama, and Ab means heart, or Ba means spirit or soul. Both Abraham and Brahma derive from the Nyunyu, and also all of them had a wife. Both of them had a wife called Sarai and Saraswati. In Bantu, Sarai means stay, as Hagar said to Sarai, you remain behind with your husband, and I'm not staying. Hagar, same things. Both Abraham and Brahma have the same issues of the son that they had to kill and release the soul. So African kuripangos. Third is created from the clay, a belief of Jews, Christians, Muslims. This is African. This is a creation story with the god Gahute giving the number of years and calculating the number of years of the newly born. Creation by clay explanation originated in Africa in the city of Uru, and then they renamed it as On in the Bible or Torah, and the Greeks renamed it as Heliopolis, but it's Unu, Bantu, Banu, Abantu. The creator fire Atum, Atema, or Aton. Black is a self-generated, or rather born out of the mound of the mud or clay, after which he breathed the two powerful forces of air, spirit, as well as Tefnatu, Shu, which is spirit, and Tefnachu, which is the moisture or the water. And also this book that we show here, myths of the Bible demonstrates that all the stories that you find in the Bible came from ancient Hamid. By this book by Gary Greenberg, read it, it will prove to you that story. Let's look in the Quran. In 642, Alexandria was captured by the Muslims, who were given military instructions by order of the Caliph Omar in regards to the books in the royal library, namely the scrolls that survived the first burning. And he said that if those books are in agreement with the Quran, we do not need them. If they are opposed to the Quran, destroy them. So in one or two ways, they banned them. But here is the key. The Kunum creation of humans from clay theory weaved its way and is now found as a standard explanation of human origins in the Quran. According to 630 Quran, the God Allah created man from clay by shaping clay into human form and breathing a spirit into him. We created man from sounding clay, from mud molded into shape, altered black mud. Surah 15:26. We created man from the essence, a strain, quintessence, extract, parentage of clay. We made out of the lump bones and clothed the bones with flesh. Then we developed out of it another creature, woman. Surah 23:12-14. Who perfected everything which he created and began the creation of man from clay. Surah 32. You can also read Surah 37, which say we created man from sticky clay. A number of confusion and contradictions emerge when you study the Quran about the creation of men. Some they say congealed blood. There is a surah given. Water 25:45. Clay, mud, dust, sperm, dot of clay. So whenever you raise these issues in a debate with a Muslim or a scholar who is sympathetic to Islam, they will always enter into that field we have spoken of called apologetics. So you don't listen to apologetics, you are wasting your time. Hinduism, in Brahma, same story. He created men from clay, species from clay, breathed the soul into life. And you know the word Abraham and Brahma, the same words, state clear. Other derivatives of the same African story can be found in the Mayan myths that hold that Tepeu and Kukulkan Quetzalcoatl made the first humans from clay, but they were not very nice. The Maori, the people of New Zealand, believe that Tane Mahuta means breasts. God of the forests created the first woman out of clay and breathed life into her. The Akkadian literature in Chaldea or Babylon is full of clay models. In Africa, the Yoruba, many other tribes teach the same story. In Chinese myth, the goddess Nua created the first humans from mud and clay. Nua, you know, these stories in the Chinese myth came from Kemet. You read the book Package Principle, it will demonstrate that clearly. So, according to this website, all these religions that you find here are Ra-centric religions or Anunian African belief system. All of them, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Chinese religion, tribal religions, even the non-religious. The story is the same. There are no two ways. You can't escape that fact. Yes, it is true that all of these Abrahamic religions, over 72%, are bound to the African religion that began in the Anunian explanation of the god Ra and the Nunu. So in short, 80% of the world believes in this story, yet they are oblivious to this fact. They believe and adhere to the myth, which has been retold and retold so many times through so many thousands of years that it is barely recognizable to the original. Yet the evidence is there. It is ingrained within the Anunian African ancestor reverence belief system. Anunian African ancestor reverence belief system. The cardinal question is, why then do these religions attack the source and hate the original people? According to this website, the irony here is that Christianity is an African religion, namely Osiris anointed Christian with resurrection oil, branch of the father Ra, born out of Khmer, Ham, black or fertile soil, Egyptian or Hamite, Kami, which we have shown, following the flood up belief system of Heliopolis and their River Nile flood pyramid rising creation myth, Aka, the Abrahamic faith or Anunian theology. Therefore, a person complaining about being spoon-fed their own cooking is a bit humorous, reminiscent of witty Alan Watts. So I want to correct the thinker here, Lipto Themes, and say the cooking is called mbodza. Is wrong, and we do not eat mbodza. Whatever the case, the taste of the cooking is not good. He says was good, that we ended up eating some of the stew. Now we shouldn't eat some of the stew, resulting in 75% of the modern world still eating that same cooking of Abraham, Christian Islam name of Ra or Brahma, Hindu name for Ra or the children of the world, are arguing and going to war based on this our African recipe. This is Alib Themes and his website, awesome, fantastic, visit it and study it. However, we violated taboos, hence we are in pain and we are suffering. A Maharifano Development Organization teaches us that our Bantu identity is our story. We have to live and live with a pure story. And the pure story at the moment is largely derived from Hamit, which is ancient Africa's history. You also have to study and read many other books to answer why then these people hate African people, what at the same time they enjoy and think and use the African paradigms. All major religions have been hijacked and via erroneous interpretation, jealous and other political, economic and spiritual motives, we are in for a rough ride. We will be pushed to near extinction and few might be saved unless we removed the error. Over 80% of the population believe it, and their riders cannot identify the hidden hand. We can, and we are in the process of reversing the case. Join us at marfaro.com and subscribe to our channel, Hamiti Iburu Ethics. This is Preacher Rabbi L.M. Tumizulu saying, while all religions were created out of Africa, they are not well cooked today. Imboza. Have a good day.